All right, we are recording. Okay, everyone, welcome to the call. It is the first Monday of 2020, the first Monday of the new decade, the first Monday of the year, and we are going over our skill building because you know what? Just like this is the first Monday and a great way to start the year off, the foundation of our business is these 7 skills. It really is the most important thing that we can, no, I take it back. It's one of the most important things that we can learn is the skill. You know, how we feel about what we do, what our connection to people are, our relationships, are equal to our skills, but our skills can be learned. And those people that feel like they don't know how to do the business, this is where you can become to master it. Anybody, if anybody would throw out, what do they think the definition of mastery is?
Getting to a point where you're feeling comfortable with what you're doing and it really flows kind of naturally out of you.
Yeah, it just, you know it so well. It's like you've mastered driving a car. When you get in the car, you don't think, okay, I'm going to take my keys out. Now I'm going to put them in. Now I'm going to, put the brake on. Now I'm going to press the button. Now I'm going to start. You do it all naturally because you've mastered it. And so if you practice these 7 skills, you can become a network marketing professional mastering the skills. So skill number 1, anybody willing to say what skill number 1 is? Because we've gone over these. I want to make sure you all know what they are. We are on skill number 6 today.
Inviting.
No, skill number 1, not inviting.
Oh, prospecting.
Yes, putting your memory jogger together. Knowing who you are going to invite. You got to write a list of people down. When you have a party, typically what do you do first? You put your invitation list together. And then you do the invitations, right? You put your list together and then you do the invitation so you know exactly who is getting invited. Okay, so that's skill number 1. Skill number 2, Patty gave it away. It is the invitation, inviting people. That's okay. Skill number 1, putting your list together. Skill number 2, talking to somebody about what you're doing. It's pretty simple, doing the invitation. Skill number 3, anybody? Denise?
Presenting your product or business.
Yeah, and what does it mean? I use a visual when I say presenting. Anybody know what that visual is? Anybody do it all at the same time? If I did 1, 2, 3, could all of you do the visual? You zip it. You zip it, meaning you don't really present. What you do is share your experience. But if you think you have to present the product and you're brand new, could you do this business? You really couldn't. So if I spent an hour on the phone with Taryn telling her everything I knew, directly to Taryn, she's my good friend, I call her up, I tell her everything, she loves it, she gets started, and then I say, Taryn, would you like to join me in the mission? And she'd say, I love what you're doing, but I could never do it. And I'd say, well, what did I do? Well, you spent an hour on the phone telling me about telomeres and ACTP and I don't know, words I never heard. I believed you, so I started, but not so much. So if we can make other people the expert. So for example, when I was on the phone with Taryn, I was being introduced to Taryn by Lisa. I could be the expert. But hopefully Lisa was not the expert. Lisa got me on the phone or got videos on the phone or invited Taryn to an event. So presenting really is showing the way, but not doing the presenting. Just sharing your story. What you should be doing is zipping it and pointing to something else, introducing to something else. The only time, by the way, that you might be presenting is when you're asked to be in front of the room, and then you're presenting. Or when you get to be the expert. When you've been doing this for a while and somebody chooses you for their connection call. So number 1, list. Number 2, the invitation. Number 3, presenting, but it's really sharing your story. Number 4, so you've shared your story. You've sent them a video. What do you do next?
Follow up.
Follow up. Get back in touch with them. Do a love call. I like follow-up love calls instead of follow-up because most people are not excited about follow-up. In their own minds, it's sort of like the FU call, follow up, nobody wants to do it. So of course, my suggestion is if you think of it in terms of love call, guiding, teaching, transforming, and you're just making love calls all day long, it's a lot more fun than making follow-up calls, in my mind. I like to reframe things. So 4 is that getting back in touch, another exposure. Another exposure, another exposure. Skill number 5. Now you've exposed them tons to Juice Plus or our business. What are you going to do next?
Helping them become either a customer or a new partner.
Exactly. Help them get started. Help them say yes. So they're in the yes. I like to think of skill number 5 as asking the question. You finally ask the question, does this make sense to you? Are you ready to get started? Are you ready to experience Juice Plus? Hey, if I had your credit card, you'd have Juice Plus sitting on your porch in 5 days or less. Want to try it? Anything that asks the question so that they can have that transformation that everybody on this call has had a chance to experience. Okay? And then skill number 6 is what we're on today. Once they've said yes, getting them off to a good start. So let's spend 2 minutes talking about customer care, because you want to get your customers off to a good start as well. What are some things that we do to get our customers off to a good start? Without going through the whole big list, by the way, if you go to I know it's on,
In Revolution.
yeah, the other one,
Mission driven.
missiondriven.info. There's a whole section on customer care. You just can type in customer care and it tells you piece by piece by piece what to do. But what are some things that you feel would be important to have your customer have a good experience?
Check in with them about what their goals are for their health.
Yay, you could even do that right before they get started. So you're going to get started on Juice Plus. What's the most important thing? What would you like to see in your health? Take notes on this. Find out what they want to have happen. Well, I want to stop having migraines. I want to have more energy, and I want my kids to be sick less often. I don't know, but whatever they say, write it down, because they're going to forget what they said. And when they have the feeling, oftentimes you call them up and you go, how are you doing on your Juice Plus? And they go, fine. This is like a real call. Fine. Well, have you noticed anything? Not really. I'm curious. You said before that you weren't sleeping so well. How are you sleeping now? Oh, now that you mention it, I've been sleeping great lately. Cool. And, you know, before you said something about digestion. Oh my God, I'm regular for the first time in my life. You know, all of a sudden, people, when you feel well, that's how you're supposed to feel. We only notice the bad stuff. We tend not to notice the good stuff. So help them by doing a love call, draw them out. So number 1, what are their goals? And then when you call them back to find out how they're doing, and then how often do we call them back in those first 4 months? What should we be doing? Or what do you feel like would be a good thing to do to get in the rhythm of?
Nikki, I try to call them within the first 10 days just to make sure that they know it's going to arrive. Then I'll about a week.
Yeah, she's breaking up, but I know what she's saying, and I can tell you she's going to call them the first 10 days to make sure they've received their product, that they're taking it regularly, how they're taking it, what's going on those first few days to help them get in the habit. And then in the next 3 months, you know, certainly you want to at least call them once a month just to check in on them. And another thing to really do is if you have a list of your 10 favorite videos and, you know, you've already sent them a couple to get them started, what if once a month you said, oh, I watched this video and I was thinking of you? And you don't have to go through all of your 20 customers and do separately. Pick one video for the month and send it to everybody. I saw this video and I thought you might enjoy it. And then you just send it out to all your customers at the same time, just text it. So those are some customer care ideas to help your customer get a good start. All right, now let's shift over to helping your distributor get a good start.
I had a question for you, Nikki, if you don't mind. So do you keep a list of who you've contacted, when you've contacted them, and what you've sent?
So Taryn, there's a program called TeamZ, TeamZy. It's $19.95 a month. It does everything you just asked. It's awesome. So you enter somebody's name in, you can tag them where they live, what their interests are, so that, for example, if I have an event coming up in Ashland, Oregon, I can hit the tab Rogue Valley, and all of my customers and my prospects will come up in a list for me, so I can send invitations to all of them. You can tag them interested in Tower Garden. So if there's a Tower Garden event coming up on Zoom call, all the Tower Garden people come up. Also, there's a whole section where you can set the date. So I talked to them today. You can write what you sent them, and then you can say follow up. It has a calendar, follow up in 3 days. Then if you click on your follow up tab, all the people you said you follow up come up in the order in which they were going to be followed up with. You never lose anybody unless you don't enter them. Okay. It's so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. Okay. Great question. So, and you can talk to more about Lisa and Patty about TeamZ. It's really awesome. It just, if you really use it, nobody gets left behind. So,
Nikki, I just have to say something quick on that with something, Dr. Pamela coming to Reno on Thursday. I pulled up my tags in Reno and I had like 160 people that I probably would have missed half of them because of Teamsy.
yeah. So first of all, I think getting somebody started, and this is, Denise, did you want to say something?
Yeah, the next Teamsy Bootcamp is starting the end of January also.
Oh, so a Teamsy Bootcamp goes how long, Denise?
12 weeks.
It's 12 weeks and they tell you what to do. Can you give us a little, I know this is not
Yeah.
exactly what we were covering, but I think this is important stuff for anybody that goes back and listens to this.
Okay, so it's a fantastic way of being introduced to all the things that Teamsy can do for you. They have, work with you on Facebook to have daily activities that you work on. There's 3 training calls that you get over the 12 weeks that are with Eric and Mike, the two who started Teamsy, and you have an accountability partner. So there's all of these steps, daily steps that you do. And then within all of those daily steps, they teach you something new about Teamsy and how to use it to grow your business.
So they may teach you how to text people, how to move people to the next level using Teamsy. So it really relates to our business. It's not just using Teamsy. It's how it relates to network marketing and the way we do our business. And Denise, on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable did you find it?
Well, this is my first boot camp that I did, and I found it incredibly valuable. I had some accountability partners who had a lot more activity level than I did, but what I loved about it is that they encouraged me to keep doing it, because one of them was in her 4th boot camp and is going into her 5th. So she's like, look, I was the same place you were when I was in my 1st. So you take what you can in this one and then go to the next one. And then you grow into the next one, what you do from there. So I would say a 10. I'm doing the boot camp again and I plan on doing it.
Doing it again. And it's 12 weeks. And do you remember the cost of it?
$289, I think.
Okay. For the 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, if you want to find it, I believe if you go to Teamzy, TEAMZY.com, you'll find it. And they will ask you what company you're with. They gave our company a discount. It used to be $30 a month, and now it's $19.95 a month when you say your Juice Plus wrap.
And that, I think that $289 includes what your monthly subscription is. I'm pretty sure. I can't quite remember, but
okay. Good enough.
It's very worthwhile.
Great. Okay. So now getting back on track. So Teamzy is a great resource. GoPro, which we're doing right now, is a great resource. And so what I want to talk to you about, what Eric Worre calls the game plan interview. And what I really want to talk to you about is setting expectations for you and your distributor. And I think oftentimes we forget that part. What are your expectations of me? What are my expectations of you? And the one thing that very often happens in network marketing is very often reps, partners will say, oh, my upline wasn't very good, so I failed. I didn't have a good upline. I didn't have a good teacher, so I never really did very well. And what Eric Worre says, it's going to be you who creates your success, not me. It's up to you. Now, I will be honest with you. When Chris and I started the business, we loved our sponsor. Patty, you knew our sponsor. But he was a little bit like a bulldog in a china shop. And I didn't feel comfortable or safe introducing him to other people. He often referred to women as the little lady, and that just didn't go over so well. And so here's the thing. I really couldn't use him. And he was not in the business much longer than me. So what did I do? I started meeting people outside my group and asked a million questions of everybody, and I gathered all the information. So Chris and I became national marketing directors, really without an upline there to really help us. So I can tell you it's positive because that's my experience. But the good news is Chris and I are really here to help all of you. So please make sure to use us, but your success is about you following the system and you doing the activity and us guiding you and showing you the way. Does that make sense? Okay, that's one of the, I can be a resource, but you will need to do the work. And the other thing is, a question I like to ask people is what I notice about people, like Taryn, you've been on this call many times and you just started. Like you're popping up, you are showing up. Lauren, you are showing up. I see that. Courtney is showing up all the way from across the pond. I don't know, are you in Lebanon or are you in Ireland today? Anybody
I'm in
couldn't hear that?
Lebanon.
Lebanon today.
I'm in Lebanon. Yeah.
You are showing up. So what happens though is, what if all of a sudden Courtney doesn't show up on the calls anymore? And I text her and she doesn't respond. Usually that means that something has happened, and we call it going quiet. So they've gone quiet on us. It usually means they've had a bad experience. Maybe they've had a couple no's. Maybe all of a sudden they began to doubt themselves. And so they go quiet. And I know when people, this is what I know. The people that stay connected, the people that stay close to the heat, the name of our team, they stay close to the fire, those are the people that succeed. And the people that wander off and they're not on our Tuesday night calls anymore. They don't listen to the recordings anymore. They stop coming on our Monday day calls. And I'm not saying you have to do the Monday calls forever. And I'm not saying that you have to be on every Tuesday night call, but it's best if you are. And if you can't make it, that you listen to the rebroadcast. Those people that stop checking in on Voxer. When that all happens, I know one of two things happen. Either we need to see what happened if they're open and we can bring them back, or we end up completely losing them. And it's really sad, and I see it happen a lot. So when people start to get disconnected, so my question is, see ya. When I start to see people go quiet, I'm going to ask you, what would you like me to do? Because you told me that you really, really, really wanted this business. Like this aligned with your values, your purpose. If you could get good at it, you could create a life with this, but you're not here anymore. What would you like me to do? And some people say, remind me not to get out of line, go out to coffee with me, get on the phone with me, have a really deep conversation with me. Tell me what you want us to do when you start to flail. That's really the question. What's the best way to help you when you flail? Anybody want to share what would be good for them? If you start that disconnected feeling.
I know for me personally, because I'm relatively new to the business.
Yeah.
And I know from the get-go, everybody says, go to mission-driven information, go do that. And I did that, but there was so much information, it was hard to really know where to start. Totally. And so what I've done the last week is I've literally just gone back to getting started. And now that I have some experience with it, I have a little template that when I sign up distributors, that I want them to go to mission-driven info and print out this. So it's very specific. And so now I have a really cool notebook with all my potential, like I have my memory jogger to start. And from there I have my prospects, which is all tied into TeamZ as well, because I've done TeamZ too, and I love TeamZ. Can't say enough good stuff about it. So if you haven't tried it, I highly encourage it. But then as a business is built, the customer profiles and having that, because I'm older and I like writing things down on my customer profile, which is also within the mission-driven info, it's super easy for me to track, to look up that customer. And so I have a system for all of that, that in and of itself is just freedom. So
I'm going to refer you back. I'm so glad you said that, Deborah, to The Freedom Revolution. There is a Getting Started book and a Getting Started guide. If you print that off, it will absolutely take you through the system. It's on thefreedomrevolution.com. Click on the tab that says Getting Started. It may ask you for your password, which is revolution, and then print up the Getting Started. There's 2 books, a quick sheet and an actual guidebook. Okay. And then the next thing to do, now, here's the thing though, when I get somebody started, Deborah, the first thing I want them to do is keep it simple and have a really simple experience. So if we can get you on Vox, back up. If we can get you to understand how to set up your Juice Plus Virtual Office website, and I send out, and I've put it on Broadcast Voxer. How many of you check Broadcast Voxer on a regular basis? All right, if you don't, I'm gonna really offer it up, because when Alexis Busselman sent to us exactly what she sends to her new reps. Did we lose you, Debbie? There you are.
No, I'm back.
Okay. When she sends exactly the pictures of what she sends to a new rep via Voxer. So number 1, you get all your new reps started on Voxer immediately, and all your correspondence goes there. The next thing she does is set them up with the 4 pictures of how they are going to set up their virtual office. so she doesn't have to do it with them. It's exactly how to do it. Now, on the Freedom Revolution, there are videos that you can find. If you go to the Freedom Revolution and you go to the tabs that say A to Z, hit on the tab that says A to Z, and you can scroll down to F, which is frequently asked questions. There is 2 sections there of videos. Videos on the frequently asked questions about the product. Everything, like, is it organic? Where is it grown? You know, there's like the 10 questions that I've heard 100 times are in the frequently asked questions on the Freedom Revolution. And then there's a second section, business. Under business, it tells you exactly how to set up your website so that we don't need to spend a lot of time. But I love what Alexis did. She said, once you've set up your virtual office and you've learned how to place orders and you have set up your juiceplus.com website, send me your link. That's her knowing they've done that. And consistently, I've posted those 4 pictures with her description on Broadcast Voxer. I can do it again for all if you'd like, but I really suggest you go to Broadcast Voxer on a regular basis. And you know how to scroll up if you only see 5 messages. If you keep going like this with your finger, you can get up 50 messages. So often I have people saying, well, it's too far up. No, you can go up all the way, right?
So is Broadcast Voxer and Voxer the same thing?
Yes, Voxer has different chats. So we have Deborah, you have your team chat with you and Michael and Mariah and Denise and whoever above you. That's your own little private chat for you when you started. We have something called Turn Up the Heat Voxer chat, which is for people to ask any questions they want and get help. Broadcast Voxer for my group is no chat. It's just me sharing informational stuff, so you don't have to hear a bunch of questions that you may or may not be interested in. But they're really important trainings, like how to get started, where I keep my notes, how to organize things. So when I get somebody started, I, number one, want to keep it very simple. I don't even think I would bring up mission driven at the beginning. My whole thing about getting somebody started is having a good experience. Can they understand the if I would you question? I thought of you because you've got kids that you mentioned get sick a whole lot. My experience with Juice Plus is it really helped my family. I don't know what it's going to do for you. If I sent you a video, would you watch it? If we can get our brand new person to get their Partner Plus done, their 1,000 points, and their 2 or more customers in their first week, they've had a successful experience. After they've had that successful experience, let's then start showing them the tools. Let's chunk it down. We're not going to send them to these websites right away. However, the Freedom Revolution in getting started is really great because the videos are casting vision. How do I do an invitation? They're all right there for teaching them how to get started. So I don't send them to Mission Driven right away. I want them, and if they want a video, I'm going to send them the video that they're looking for and tell them where I found it until they're willing to start going there. And Mission Driven, I use just at the beginning just to find videos. I don't want to bog them down with a bunch of information. They feel like you did, Deborah, there's too much information. I can't learn it on, and therefore I can't really do the business. So having them have a good experience, sharing Juice Plus with their friends, having them have a few customers, getting a check in their hand, that will really give your new rep the best start possible. Any questions there? So if you are going to send them someplace like Mission Driven, chunk it down. Say, oh, if you go to Mission Driven and you're looking for videos, go to the search bar, type in videos, and then type in product videos, and you'll just check out a few each day. Just look at a few videos every once in a while. Let's keep it really chunked down so nobody feels like it's too much information at one time. Okay. Any comments?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we're gonna finish this up next week. I think we covered a lot of really great stuff on this call. Yeah, and so we're gonna really go about the game plan interview that you're gonna do with your brand new rep in terms of what's expected of them and how to get a good start in that conversation. So we will see you next week. If you haven't checked out the freedomrevolution.com getting started, check it out. Look at the starter guide. look at the quick sheet guide, and maybe look at 1 or 2 of the first getting started videos. They're only 3 or 4 minutes long. Just get yourself accustomed to looking at them and don't spend an hour and a half doing it. 10 minutes. All right?
Awesome. Thanks, Nikki.
Everybody
Thank
have a great
you,
week. Good to see
Nikki.
you, everybody.
Thanks for everyone participating.
Thanks so